Hi, my name is Jack, and the next half an hour, I will explain to you about analytics in motion. The topic of discussion over here is situational intelligence with analytics in motion. Now, let's start with time. Everyone knows time is money, but what about real time? Real time is where you can make a decision faster or make a better quality of service to your customer, whether it's internal or external. And that's what we mean here by real time is money. Now, streaming data gets you halfway. Analytics takes you all the way. If you look at in terms of value from a real-time operations point of view, what is happening right now, you can see you have visibility in the moment. But when you go to the next level, we should talk about context-aware decisions where you can have real-time and historical events. What's happening today compared to what happened a week ago? That gives you intelligence. Then when you start having interactive conversations where you can allow your users, whether they're internal or external, to rapidly explore all your data. Why is it happening? That's where you get the bulk of the value, right? So that's what we mean by analytics that gives you all the way. Now, what if you could take advantage of every second? You could maximize customer sales and revenue. You could understand the real-time customer behavior to optimize your targeting and promotions, right? Imagine any digital apps that you might have or digital business that you're running. You want to ensure your customers get the best return on service or revenue. You want to have that visibility in real time. That's what we mean by having advantage of every second. You want to ensure operations never go down so that your systems are running and it's giving you real-time observability to eliminate downtime or security threats, which is also growing as we speak. You want to build a better user experience where you have real-time application, cloud, and service monitoring and diagnostics. And then last but not least, you want to deliver insights as a service, where real-time analytics is monetized and delivered to customers as an extra value to you and the customer. Therefore, you're actually getting revenue out of getting real-time analytics to your customers. So that's what we mean by taking advantage of every second. Real-time is money. Now, harnessing this potential requires a new approach to analytics. From the left, you have streaming analytics, which is designed to process event streams via predefined queries in real time. Then, in the center, you have batch analytics, which is designed for reporting on historical aggregations. Analytics in motion is a combination of real-time and historical. So it's a combination of both streaming analytics and batch analytics. It's designed for real-time interactive insights on all of your data. That's what we mean by a new approach to analytics. Analytics in motion can be built with sub-second query response at virtually limitless scale. How can you analyze millions of real-time events every second? How can you support slicing and dicing for thousands of concurrent users? On the left-hand side is an example of how users are currently using analytics in motion and how they want to view information today compared to 7 days ago. That gives you a quick insight of what we're talking about here. Now, let's talk about the existing solutions out there. You got cloud data warehouses, which are designed for traditional reporting and dashboards of historical data. And data warehouses as a service, which is organized by the cloud companies like Amazon, AWS, Google, BigQuery, they are a service which simplifies management and scaling complexity of legacy enterprise data warehouses. So all you've done is just taken your data warehouse from your on-prem to the cloud, but the problem has not gone away. You just reduce your overheads. The architecture is only suitable for low query volumes and traditional batch analytics, right? In this new world, we need end users to explore real-time data and rapidly process interactive queries. Meeting the scale and concurrency requirements drives very high expenses. Think about it this way. The cloud data warehouses tend to separate compute from storage. The more users that are going to run queries, the higher your cost goes up. Therefore, they're not designed for that analytics in motion use cases. Event streams, the Kafkas, the Kinesis, these generate these event streams processes events immediately as the data arrives. The architecture is predefined queries to calculate results for real-time alerts. Great, but these engines aren't capable of true analysis and exploration of high-dimensional, complex data at scale, or even correlate and aggregate across real-time and historical data. That's a challenge there, which takes us to search platforms, the Splunks, the Elastics, which are great for terabytes of scale built for a couple of users, whether they're security guys or IT guys. It's amazing. However, these platforms aren't able to meet the scale or high dimensionality or concurrency and flexibility required for ad hoc analysis of real-time and historical data, i.e., the moment you want to expose it to more users. That's where these search systems are not designed for those sort of use cases. So these are the requirements for analytics in motion. You need to have interactive queries where you need to have sub-second OLAP responses. You need to have self-service data analytics, and you need to have a point and explore integrated user interface. It also has to have unlimited scale. It can handle high query concurrency, petabytes of data or volumes, high ingestion throughput, right? It has to be able to handle real-time and historical data, the Kafka and Kinesis integrations, the data lake integrations, and flexible and adaptive schemas. But it also needs to be the best price performance, right? That's important. You need to be configurable price performance, predictable performance and cost, and fine-tuned based on usage. So these are the 4 requirements for analytics in motion. And Imply is the answer. It's built from the proven Apache Druid to power real-time analytics and data application. It's built to never fly blind again with access to data the moment it's created. It's built to have live conversations with data at any scale or any number of users. And it's built to not break the bank with a hyper-efficient data architecture. Now, from a top level, this is the Imply Analytics platform. It pretty much combines of Implied Druid, which is the engine, which is the workhorse, and it can run on either AWS or Google Cloud or Azure or even on-prem. It can handle both streaming and batch ingest, and it's the fastest query engine out there. You need Imply Manager, which comes part of the solution, which helps you do simple cluster management. It handles instant deployment and scalability. And then you need to tune as your data goes. Imply Clarity, which helps you improve your performance as the system is used over the time, performance monitoring and resource optimization. And of course, you need to have a user interface, which is Imply Pivot, right? Or you can integrate it with your custom user interface, or you might be using a Tableau where you want to have real-time information being integrated via the JDBC. So that's the Imply Analytics platform from a high level. And Imply Pivot is what our user interface that is specifically designed to run on top of Druid. It allows you to have audited and controlled personalized experiences. It allows you to have a complete picture of streaming and historical events. It's got intuitive visuals with drag and drop, slice and dice. It's got real-time dashboards to inform you and inspire curiosity. And most importantly, it's got built-in security for user management and alerting. So therefore, you can answer complex questions at scale instantly. Here's a high-level data architecture flow of Imply. You'll have your data sources coming in from the left, your data delivery mechanism like Kafka or Kinesis, sending the data into Imply for ingestion. Or you might be sending your data sources into a data processing system, an ETL platform or machine learning platform, which can then be stored in your data lake or Hadoop storage, which will be then ingested into Imply's batch and compared with the real-time data that is arriving via your Kafka Kinesis, and Imply feeds it to your application. But this is a high-level architecture flow of Imply. Now, our customers themselves who have tested it and deployed it have told us that the results are much faster. The queries run 3 to 5 times faster. The cost is less than 50% of what the TCO of other analytical databases that they have invested in, and it supports more users for the same hardware. So that's the power that the customers have told us. Now, let's talk about some of the examples of our customers in action. Twitter. Now, Twitter owns a company called Mopub, right? Mopub is basically a revenue generating platform that runs on top of Twitter's platform, right? And as you can imagine, it's a large part of the revenue. Mop-up is programmatically connecting advertisers with publishers, right? And the stakeholders need to understand how the ad platform performance is. And the external stakeholders also need to understand the detailed ad campaign performance. Who are the people who are clicking on your ads? Where are they located? How is your new campaign working? And that will give you answers faster. They had existing tools which were costly and inefficient. So therefore, they had tried with every single cloud provider out there. They couldn't get what they were after. In the end, they came with Imply, and they wanted a system that could handle 100 billion events per day, which could run up to high costs on other cloud company providers. But they also had data governance and compliance risk issues like GDPR out of the European Union. Imply was deployed, it's self-hosted and white labeled, right? So they have got both thousands of internal and external users running queries in real time, right? And the users are getting more information and they're growing, right? The external advertising product generates real revenue for the company. And they are using Imply as part of the service to their customers, right? It's reduced their TCO by 10 times and it's fully GDPR compliant. Therefore, the data that happens in Europe stays in Europe. Data happens in Australia will stay in Australia, and similarly to other geographies out there. It's self-hosted with predictable and controllable costs. So you have both internal and external users using Imply in Twitter for ad auction data. External users are the publishers, are the advertisers. How successful is my digital advertising campaign? Internal users are the engineering team. How is version A compared to version B of the Twitter platform? How is version B compared to version C of the Twitter platform? The marketing team, how are the number of users coming in? How are the uptake of Twitter feeds when the US election is on or when COVID is hitting New South Wales? And you have analysts who would like to get details, all from the same data, right? And this is where the power of Imply having analytics in motion comes in. Let's take a look at it from another example. A bank, DBS Bank is the largest bank in Singapore. They are using us from an anti-money laundering use case. And you can imagine they've got all sort of solutions out there in the bank, right? You have banking transactions that are taking place and the banking transactions are coming in, being ingested, and they're comparing it to their machine learning models. However, you still need human interaction to ensure those machine learning models are correct. And when you have lots of data coming in real time, I mean, everyone is transferring money as we speak. So you can just imagine, right, the millions of events that are happening in real time and millions of events, billions of events from historical. You want to compare that. Imply is being used by the banking analysts. They don't have to be technical users. They're banking analysts. They understand the business. They understand fraud. They understand anti-money laundering. They are using Imply to do their own self-service analytics. They're using Imply Pivot to slice and dice to get in answers. A banking analyst in Singapore and a banking analyst in Hong Kong and a banking analyst in New York are all looking at it differently. And that's what Imply provides them to power their customers, and whether they're internal or external. Now, this has helped them to be more proactive, right? Because they can check for real-time data visibility, so they can provide detection and alert faster, so that they don't get fined by their respective countries. It can scale into millions of events per day with 500 milliseconds end-to-end latency. And it works with your machine learning enablement. So therefore, you can see as your machine learning algorithms are running and the results that are coming out, you can modify or you can reject the machine learning algorithms based on the business information that you have. Let's look at it from a manufacturing point of view. Here's a supply chain analytics company. It's a large electronic consumer provider, and they were using Oracle as their system in all of their manufacturing plants. In particular, it was more the large plants. There was no single consolidated view of manufacturing supply chain, right? So all the reports were being generated after a shift had completed, and these shifts are running 24/7. So they'll have multiple shifts per day per plant, and they had to have someone consolidate all of this data together so that the users can have a consistent view rather than have a fractured view, and they were spending a lot of time on reconciliation. Today, they're using Imply. So they have a consolidated view of monitoring, reporting, and analytics across all the plants, whether how big or how small. They have immediate explanation of anomalies during a shift, not after a shift. And they don't have to spend time for reconciliation because they're getting all the data into Imply that they can compare what's happening in real time and what's happening to historical. And these workflows have led to expanded use. So now they've got 10,000 global users issuing over 1,000 queries per second, and they can get immediate explanation of anomalies during a shift. So immediately they can tell if a manufacturing plant is having problems. Immediately they can tell if there's some defects happening in one plant, because all these plants are interconnected in terms of the supply chain, right? And most importantly, they can also help them reduce fraud, when previously they used to have a lot of black markets where they were selling malfunction devices, devices that were deployed from any of their factories that were being sold in the black market, and those people who are buying it from the black market or walking into these customers' retail stores, they were able to pinpoint immediately that if that item is part of the malfunction device, it's not covered by warranty. That has saved them $1 billion a year, right? So that's an example of how Imply is using many use cases, right? Not just fraud, but also for fast root cause analysis to understand product defects found in return goods, right? Or faster detection of faulty components or software tests and process in a certain manufacturing plant when they do some updates to the machinery. Here's another example of a retail analytics Fortune 100 retail company, right? This particular company is a large retailer, right? They have sales coming in from online and also from in-store. And all of that data is classified based on the end user needs, right? Hot data access is where the users need to interactively explore data, right? And well, cold data access, where latency is not important. That's where the complex analyst queries can run their use cases. The hot data use case is where we are focused on here. The retailer wanted finer granularity into digital and physical purchases. Data was summarized at monthly level, but needed weekly and daily visibility, right? And that helped them achieve faster operational efficiency for the merchants. Case, for example, is they wanted to know if a 6-pack can of Coke was selling faster in a certain location or certain geography compared to a 24-pack can of Coke. And therefore, the merchants from this company could order their inventory in the right manner, right? And that's just one item. You can just imagine the type of items that these guys are selling is over the roof. And that basically was the key requirement. They had a data lake, which was a legacy data warehouse, which was too cost prohibitive to reach the desired level of granularity. Also, it was too slow to achieve the desired level of concurrency. So Imply was serving all the hot data queries. This particular customer themselves said that we were running 10 times faster over Google's BigQuery for comparative use case. That's from the customer, not from us, right? So today, what has happened? They are actually, today they are actually having hot data queries which are completing 5 to 10 times faster than BigQuery, right? And therefore, the procurement team can interactively analyze item level sales while negotiating with each supplier. It leads up to 200 million in savings from excessive supplier charges. That's based on what they have told us the last time we spoke to them. That has increased exponentially in the last 12 months. And it's multi-cloud product enabled. So therefore, they could easily migrate from Azure to Google Cloud to reduce additional costs. That's what this customer has used us for. Today, our customers are diverse and global. They are across different industries. In this APJ region, we have customers from media, for example, like Naver in South Korea, and of course, Twitter and Lineman and Blaze, right? We have NTT in the networks and the out of Japan. We have Atlassian here out of Sydney, which uses us to power their Confluence product analytics. We got security companies like McAfee that are using us to power their cybersecurity products, which they provide as a service to their customers. Right? We got fintechs like Chai out of South Korea and Singapore. We have Plate Finance, which is using us, and PayPal from a payments platform point of view. So these are some of the examples that I know of, but there's plenty of other use cases out there, which I could talk forever. So please go ahead to our website, right? And before I go to our website, just a quick overview of our company. We are a 5-year-old company now. We are funded by Andreessen Horowitz and Geodesic Capital and Khosla Ventures and Bessemer Ventures out of the US. We are headquartered in San Francisco. Our employees are across all over the world. We have global customer base across many verticals, Amazon, Apple, Atlassian, you saw that in the previous slide. And the technology is proven. It's built from Apache Druid, which is a real-time analytics database as the engine, and gives you complete experience from enterprise distribution to visualization. Go ahead and get started. This is our website where you can go ahead and get started, imply.io/get started, and you can try Imply Cloud, or you can download Imply free of charge and give it a go. Thank you, and I hope you have a good day.